I've only played a little bit of MyFACTION since WWE 2K22. I explore the mode when it first comes out, but then I never usually open it ever again. This time, I spent time actually playing the mode, so here are my overall thoughts. I guess the way that I'm gonna do this is I'm gonna go through each of these and just sort of talk about my experience. I'll talk about weekly towers first, since this is actually one of my, more favorite parts of this mode, because it's not too tedious and it's not too annoying. I like weekly towers because it's kind of just something that's there. So, like, you look at this, it's here, look, a couple of 1v1 matches, if you taunt a couple times, you get the MFP points earned, whatever. Steel cage match, triple threat match is somewhere in here. If I could find it. Yeah, triple threat match. So, it's really not that bad. It's 5 matches for like a week. And, I think last week, you get this Sami Zayn Sapphire card, which is pretty good. So, this mode here is kind of just like, you sit down, relax after like a long day, and you want to play some matches and earn some like MFP and rewards from it. That's what I like about this, is like, this is a mode I genuinely have a good time with, because it's not too difficult and it's not too annoying. So I like weekly towers. Faction Wars is actually not that bad. I think Faction Wars is, it's way different from where it used to be back then. And now it's more like here, I'll just open it up and kind of show you. You get these like stages, and then you get a Faction Wars exchange thing where you have credits, and the more stages that you play through, you can redeem these cool cards. And then you get these unlockable boss cards, and if I could find a specific boss card, this card right here is basically how you can get a lot of MFP points really quickly. So, I'll talk about that exploit a little bit more further, but once you get this card, that's where the grind really starts. And, it's pretty good because, you could make it so that you do 4v4s or like 1v1s, but, some of these matches are like really long. Like, you got casket matches in here sometimes, ambulance matches and underground matches. The problem with ambulance matches and casket matches is that they genuinely take too long. Like, they take way too many finishers. But overall, I don't even really have a problem with Faction Wars either. Faction Wars is not that bad. Now, World Tour, this one's interesting because people have said that they kind of like this. And, I just found this to be very difficult and a little bit tedious. I'm going to admit, I have a little bit of an unpopular opinion here, but I kind of found this to be a little bit more of a chore. Now, basically, you have Orlando, which is, I think, the easiest one. And, it just kind of introduces you to, World Tour. You have Chicago, which is apparently one of the harder ones, which actually kind of is, but I didn't have that much of a problem with this one compared to some of these other ones. I think New York. What was in New York that was tough? I don't remember, but there was some where you had to do these really tedious matches, like Iron Man matches, where you just did a bunch of 15-minute matches, right? And that was very annoying. You just had to do a bunch of 15-minute matches, and you had to do a bunch of ladder matches, which in this game is a little bit changed, so they're, you have to learn that. And so my biggest issue was the War Games matches and the Iron Man matches, because War Games, you could just kind of lose if you miss track on someone going for the pin, and it's just, and then you have to start War Games all over again. Iron Man matches aren't really difficult, but they're just sort of, it's annoying when you're like 9 falls ahead of your opponent, and you have like 8 minutes left in the match, so you just kind of got to sit there for 8 minutes. And so that, I'm saying that, World Tour, apparently people had an overall good experience with it, and, good for them. I found myself just very frustrated for the majority of this time playing World Tour. And I know World Tour is going to probably continue to get updated with more regions, and so I'm going to have to continue to play World Tour. And so, I don't know, I didn't really have that much fun. I'm gonna be honest with this mode, and it's kind of like one of the main modes you have to play in order to get the majority of the Persona cards. Now, there is also the fast MFP method, which actually you go in a world tour and you do. So once you get that Trish Stratus card, like I said, which basically is by playing Faction Wars, you go into, I believe, what is it? I actually don't remember what it was. Was it this one? It's Mirror Match, Match 5, and then you basically, you hit Trish Stratus, and then you taunt with everybody else on your team, and then after she hits a finisher, and then you basically just go for the pin, and then the match should be over in less than 2 minutes, and it gets you like 550 or 580 MyFACTION points. So in around 2 to 3 minutes, if you're really, really fast, you can get like 1,000 MFP. I like to say like 1,000 MFP per like every 5 minutes, and then that's basically when you've done everything else you could do in the mode. And so that's like, that is your fast MFP method, and it's kind of, and I don't really want to show it off because this is a review video. It's not really like a guide or tutorial or anything. So that's that. And then the other thing you have is live events. And so I'll click on live events here too. Live events are actually not that bad either. I believe that live events are actually, but you see, the problem is this, and this is where things start to get a little bit tricky, because in live events, right, you are likely not going to have every card that is required to do these live events. Like I can't do this live event because I do not have a female fierce card, but I do have this LA Knight, which is how I was able to grind to do this, you know, get this Carmelo Hayes. But I pulled him out of chance. I didn't think I was going to be able to pull this LA Knight, but I did on some chance. And what I was trying to actually get was the thing that was trying to get the elite cards, which is like, I forget what these, I think they're oddities. Yeah, so this is where we start to have a little bit of a problem. Now, it's the card collecting that's the problem. So you need specific cards in order to unlock certain things, for if you want to get Persona cards and put everything into the game. Here you go, oddities, rewards. Like for example, I want to get, so this is how you unlock King Booker, Elite Trish Stratus, and Elite Bray Wyatt. I am one oddities card away from Elite Trish Stratus. So that's almost done. And then you have these two, but this is all out of luck. You know, you can't do anything specific. You just have to get either a lot of MFP or you have to spend a lot of VC. This is really just the problem with MyFACTION, and it's a little bit too difficult to pull the cards that you need. So it's like a 15% chance that you can pull the right oddity cards that you need. So it's like the chances are a little bit too low for my liking. Here are your little challenges that you can play through. Now, the mode is cool. Like there's some of this stuff is kind of fun to play. Like I completely skipped over these because playing online is probably not all that fun in this game. I don't know. I haven't really done it too much. And I haven't even really done it in the island. And the island's another video, but this is, you know, I didn't even go over online because I figured no one's really gonna do it, and you know, it's just not, you know, I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of just playing MyFACTION online with other players, but I mean, the rest of this stuff is just pulling the right card, and that is what is going to basically deter people from playing this mode. It is a very tedious process to sort of get the cards that you want to pull, and for that reason I don't know if I can really recommend MyFACTION. And the thing is, it's a shame because a lot of this stuff here is actually kind of fun. Weekly Towers is cool, Faction Wars is even cool, And a lot of people apparently like World Tour, so you guys might like World Tour. I personally don't, but other people do. So and that's why I'm saying it's a shame, because it's fun, but I don't know if I could say that it is worth the grind, and I don't think I could say that it's worth the effort, especially depending on your goal. If your goal is to get the Persona cards, you could probably get them, at least the first ones that come out in this game, if you're really intent and diligent on it. However, it's just the Persona cards you even get in general, it's just different versions of superstars that are already in the game. So for me, I don't know. I did it because I actually kind of just wanted to play MyFACTION, and I wanted to see how worth it was. And after spending the amount of hours that I did, I don't regret it. And I don't know. I think I have to wait until more things come out. Like, I have to wait until World Tour updates, and maybe when like the next installment of like Persona cards come out. But I don't know if I could really recommend. I mean, I recommend the mode. Actually, no, yeah, I do recommend the mode. I don't really recommend buying VC, because I've seen people opening packs. Okay, I've seen people open packs and they just get really, really bad stuff. Like, you can open up the pack market here. Look at these odds for certain things. If you go into view pack odds, 15% chance oddity cards. You know, it's, especially if you're trying to be a completionist. If you're trying to be a completionist in this game, man, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I can recommend all that time and all that effort. I don't want to, like, you know, if you want to do it, go ahead. I think most people, like a lot of people, I think there's some polls going around on social media that if there was one mode that people would get rid of, what is it? And a lot of people have said this mode. I don't think it's the worst mode. I actually don't recommend spending money on it. But if you get frustrated with you're not being able to get the right polls, I really still don't recommend spending money on it. I really don't. But that, you know what, that's basically it. And that's basically my thoughts on MyFACTION after not really being a player of it until this game, and finally sort of realizing what the idea of, you know, the gacha mechanic actually is in these games. So now that I understand that, I don't think I'm going to be spending any more VC, and I don't think I'm going to, I don't know if I'm going to continue this mode. I think I might play weekly towers. I still might play this mode. I really might. I don't know if I'm going to grind as intently as I have for this first week that I have, like, grinded it. So that's going to be it. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.